Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the next PA Forum Zoom series. And today is one of a really, really lovely topic. It's all about events now and in the future. I know a lot of people on the call have been responsible for organising events, either personally or professionally. So I've invited a panel of friends and also a panel of event professionals to be able to give you 10 minutes each on what they're doing and I can potentially support you with events now and in the future. So joining us first is Sophia Walker from Conference Care. Hi, Sophia.
Hi.
How are you?
No, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yes, very good, thank you. So just to give you a bit of background, Conference Care are one of our headline sponsors for the PA Awards. They're a venue finding agency and support a lot of the PA Forum members when they're looking for venues. But I can imagine, Sophia, that you've had to diversify quite a bit over the past couple of weeks.
You could say so, yes. It's been very interesting.
So tell us all about what you've got, what you can do and what sort of things you've got in the pipeline at the moment.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I'd just like to start off by saying thanks to everyone for being here. I think as a partner of the PA Forum, I'd also like to thank you, Dan, for your hard work in keeping this community alive during this time. So thank you very much. I just want to talk about the current landscape at the minute and kind of what we've been going through at Conference Care and how we're kind of progressing. So I'm not sure about everyone else on this call, but it's definitely been a crazy few months and it's definitely been a real life roller coaster for everyone, both personally and professionally. I've met a few of you on this call in real life and the wonderful events hosted by the forum, and I'm still definitely getting used to the idea of the new normal, which is everyone just keeps saying the new normal, whatever that means. And I'm sure a lot of my fellow speakers would also agree that since March, working in the events industry, we saw our physical events for most of the year just completely drop off a cliff. And it really came from nowhere. You know, we heard whispers of coronavirus in China kind of end of last year and no one really knew what that meant. So with that in mind, we're kind of tasked by our clients who kind of came to us and started postponing all of their events until the summer. That was the first kind of realisation. And then we didn't really understand the severity even then. The process just kind of came back round again, full circle, with customers wanting to postpone to the end of this year or into next year. Looking positively, as a company, we've managed to save our customers around £3 million of cancellation fees, which is something that we really pride ourselves on. And even now I've got customers saying, you know, Sophia, I want to hold an event physically, but I just don't know when, and we have to appreciate no one really knows at the moment. So with this in mind, this is when I really saw the event industry as a whole flourish. So many companies have had to adapt their models, the same as us and everyone else on this call, to make sure that we're still helping our customers and look at more experiential ways to host events and keep employees engaged virtually. A lot of my customers originally wrote their kind of event programs off fully for this year, but now we're starting to see a real shift in mindset of people saying, you know, we can still host these events and how do we go about it? So the answer that we've kind of found out is virtual events are potentially the way forward for a while. You know, some of our clients are either taking a completely virtual approach or they're taking a hybrid approach to their event programs where they'll run a smaller event physically, abiding by the new social distancing rules, and then they'll stream it live to a wider virtual audience. I think the next step will be virtual awards and Christmas parties, and then we can collaborate, you know, with entertainment and thinking outside of the box, which is really exciting, I think. You know, I'm a true believer that real growth takes place outside of your comfort zone. And I think the times that we've had at the minute, that really, really rings true. You know, everyone's out of their comfort zone at the moment. Some people are managing more than others, and it's absolutely fine. It's unprecedented, and we've just got to do what we can to find the right solution. I think it's important to understand that what's happening in the industry right now isn't going to be forever. So to Dan's point, the event industry now and alternative of the future will look very different. But this doesn't mean that we can't take what's happening now and use it in the future to create a positive change. So what we're seeing now is a huge increase in virtual events. On paper, virtual events have a lot going for them. They're better for the environment, they're more accessible, they save attendees time as you don't have to travel overnight, And I think more and more now we've got people working from home, we've got people finding more of a work-life balance. I think it will really change going forward. People aren't going to want to be getting up at 5 a.m, getting home at 9 p.m. So as I said, I think it will really change people's outlook on life. Virtual events are also, you could argue, cheaper, you know, you don't have to hire a venue, you don't have to pay for catering. And in some ways they are more flexible. For example, the audience, even now, Dan's recording this session to post later on YouTube. People that can't attend right now are going to be able to watch later on. So obviously I've just discussed all the positives of virtual events, but there are also some drawbacks. There's no free coffee, which everyone loves when they arrive in the morning. There's no time for face-to-face bonding. Everyone loves a chit-chat around the coffee machine. And you don't get the experience of attending an exciting venue or even packing your bags for a night away from the kids because you just need a break. Remote attendees as well. There's possibilities of maybe you're being distracted by your emails. I'm sure no one's being distracted right now, but it can happen, and we all understand that, you know, emails ping in, so you just never know. And I found it really interesting recently, you know, the different platforms that people are using for virtual meetings. Sometimes it can be quite funny with special guest appearances from children and pets, you know, and they just walk in the room and it's like, oh no, I want to call. My dog Elvis actually personally likes to make himself known when the doorbell rings, so he's locked in the other room today, so we're all good at the moment. But I think we can all agree as well that poor Wi-Fi signal and the demand on the bandwidth recently just means that face-to-face can't ever be replaced. But I certainly look forward to seeing people in real life again. So I'd just like to touch on some of the capabilities of virtual events. Some of you might not be familiar with it. It's new to everyone, and it's really interesting, the alternative platforms that you can use away from Zoom or Microsoft Teams, which some of you might use. I recently had a beauty client actually who needed to replicate their physical event, which would typically span over 6 days in the summer.
Yeah, apologies. I paused the Zoom.
Email.
No, I paused the Zoom. But just to kind of just go over that again, because that was my fault for pausing the Zoom, Sophia. So
no, it's fine.
You guys have got a platform, a virtual platform that can basically do an event from start to finish.
From start to finish.
Registration process includes the main plenary room, breakout facilities if needed, networking areas.
Correct, yeah, networking areas. We can have exhibitor areas where there's potential to sell spots for exhibitors, and if you've got certain sponsors, it opens up a platform for sponsorship packages as well. So essentially anything that would happen in the physical world, you can replicate virtually with separate rooms, separate areas. So that's kind of how it works. So if we're going to look to the future and really be honest with ourselves, there's not going to be 100% safe event until there is a vaccine available. But in the meantime, the industry needs to look at ways to make events safer and work towards a new normal to host these events. Of course, digital and virtual events are a great short-term solution, but what really makes us human are the social cues and reactions you get from looking somebody in the eye. A colleague once told me actually that you can only really get to know someone until you look into the whites of their eyes. And at the time it made me laugh, but these past few months I can actually understand how that's true now. I personally feel as well that this is an opportunity for physical events and virtual events to work in harmony. There is longevity in virtual, but we need to bring something more than just a Zoom call, you know, and going forward when live events can happen again, maybe we could look at producing them in different locations and streaming between them to minimise travel and large numbers of people in one room. We will also have to offer virtual alternatives, as you know, some people might not feel comfortable for a while being involved in a big event. There's definitely some key points to consider for the future, and I'd just like to quickly touch on these. So if you're planning on organising an event in the future, whenever that may be, you should probably consider where and when. So getting delegates to a venue safely is going to be the first hurdle to overcome. Maybe choosing a more local venue will reduce the number of potential risks. Contact points when you're at the venue, you know, thinking about the duration of the event with less physical touch points is going to be the next thing to bear in mind. Hygiene. We've seen as an agency over the past few weeks and even the past few days, you know, an increase in venues getting in touch with us, updating us on their cleaning and hygiene regimes throughout the hotels and venues. And this is really interesting for us to kind of relay to our customers what these venues are doing to give the customer some, some interest and how they can help them throughout. Another thing, which I think is quite upsetting, is catering. A lot of people love their self-serve buffets, but it's going to be a thing of the past for a while. It's going to be replaced with individually wrapped snacks and grab-and-go style lunches until we really can see some kind of safe vaccine, I suppose. And, the buzzword that everyone's using at the minute, social distancing. This is the same throughout venues, throughout hotels when running these events. We're seeing now, when talking to our industry contacts, that a room that might typically have held 200 people, due to social distancing, can now only house 50. That has a huge impact, on delegate numbers. Where are these delegates going to view this event? There's an argument there for a hybrid approach. So there are alternatives, and we can all help each other through with the right information. And then finally, which is quite interesting, is we've seen the past week a new accreditation come into play. We were told of a new accreditation called Safe, Clean and Legal that has been designed by the Quality in Tourism and the Hotel Booking Agents Association with a view to help kickstart the industry. Venues will now be seen as COVID safe, and it's aimed at boosting customer confidence again when booking events going forward. So just to round off, I'm sure you're all bored of me talking now, there will be a transitional period of back to normal, and it's difficult to say when and how. Where we'll be in 6 months' time, nobody knows, but medical treatments are constantly being developed. We're finding out new things from one week to the next, from each day to the next, really. So there's no substitute for getting together in real life, but at the end of the day, we are moving towards the right goal, and we're all here to support each other. So if anyone would like any other information on physical events or virtual events, then feel free to drop me a note at the end of this, and I'll be happy to catch up.
Awesome. Thank you very much, lovely. I know you had to get so much in just a short space of time. I'm gonna email around afterwards. So if anyone's got any questions or queries and they want to pick up with Sophia afterwards, then please feel free. And thanks for joining us today, lovely. And
thanks for having me.
Please pop them in the Q&A box. So thanks for that. And then next we've got a very good friend of mine, JD. Where is he? There he is.
Morning.
Are you all set for this world record Zoomathon that you're doing?
That's why I was a little bit late. So I'm still working in my other job. So I'm still presenting the breakfast show on free radio. And so we finish at 10 and we've just been having a chat. Yeah, tomorrow we're going to try and break a world record for the longest Zoom call starting at 8 a.m. The thing I'm looking forward to, Pat Sharp's tweeted us and said that he's going to get involved and going to bring back Funhouse for us on the Zoom call. So I'm excited about that. So yeah, if you've got a few minutes to spare tomorrow on the Free Radio YouTube channel, you can watch the live stream. We're aiming for 24 hours, but if you fancy it and you all will obviously use Zoom, we'll give out the Zoom dial details and you can come on and you can play Funhouse with Pat Sharp. And we're doing a gin tasting class tomorrow. We've got some live yoga from South Africa. We're doing magic with Ben Hanlon, who's the celebrity magician and was on Dancing on Ice. What we do overnight, we haven't a clue. We might just drink and see what happens. But yeah, we're doing that from 8 a.m. tomorrow. Should be fun. But
well, I was going to say I'm nearly mullet ready. I've got to say, because I'm pretty much there with my mullet, so I might have to tune in for a bit of Pat Sharp. That sounds cool. But well done for doing that. It's a great idea. And yeah, so for those of you that don't, so JD is a presenter on Free Radio Coventry, Warwickshire. We've known each other for many years. He's an absolute legend. But a lot of people might not realise that he's owner of EscapeLIVE, which have multiple escape rooms across the UK. So I'd just like to hand over to JD, who's come up with some great options of what you can do from home.
Okay, so firstly, let me explain, if you've not done one before, what an escape room is. So an escape room is a themed room where you and friends, family get locked in a room and you have a certain amount of time to complete challenges to try and escape. Now, how I compare it to try and get people to understand it is, if you take the board game Cluedo, a game of who done it kind of thing, and you mix it with Crystal Maze, that's kind of an escape room. And we first launched about 6 years ago, and our first venue was in Birmingham in the Jewellery Quarter. And how it came about, me and my best mate, we were in London and we were handed a flyer for an escape room. And we were like, what is this? So it was by Euston Station. We rang them up, they'd got availability. And we thought, before we get the train, let's go and give this a go. Now, I'm from a theatre background. I did theatre studies growing up. I've also been in radio for 20 years this year. So I've got quite a creative brain. And my now business partner, my best mate, Jazz, he's very business focused and very business minded. So we did this room, and it was like a medieval room, and we did it, and we come out, and I said, I really enjoyed that. The adrenaline rush towards the end, trying to escape, was really good. But I said, I just didn't understand some of it. It wasn't totally immersive in the fact that we were in like medieval times, but under the big dining table, where King Henry VIII was meant to be having a big feast or something, there was an iPad to get a code, and it kind of broke the set and the feeling of it. So my business partner says, why don't we give it a go? Because there's only one in the UK. Let's try this and let's make it completely immersive. So anyway, my best mate, Jazz, he always comes up with business ideas, but they disappear very quickly. And then he phones me and says, I've got us a venue to look at. We found a venue in the Jewellery Quarter, and bang, I was sitting in this empty shell of a railway arch going, what do we do? What themes? And so we launched with 2 initially in Birmingham. Room 13, which is, I always try and base my rooms on movies or stuff that people get. So Room 13 was based on kind of the Saw theme and the Saw idea, where a mad doctor in a hospital's gone crazy, an obsession with one of the patients, taken a hostage. And when you go in the room, you see live CCTV footage of her knocked out. And the doctor plays a game with you and goes, you've got 60 minutes or I kill her, or I come for you, kind of thing. And you've got to escape to make sure she survives. And then the other room we opened up with was Dr. Wilson's office. Everybody knows Sherlock Holmes, so it was a play on that. Basically, Dr. Wilson can't come back to the office because he's being stalked by somebody who's investigating. You have to find out who that is by finding clues, codes, keys, and stuff. And I always like to throw in a surprise element in our room. So your experience could lead you in anything between 1 and 5 different rooms in any of our experiences, depending on how you play the game. So we launched those 2, and it blew off. We were one of the first companies in the UK to offer these rooms, and it just really, really took off. So we added 2 more rooms. Then we got an inquiry, do you offer franchises? We nodded, but in our heads we were like, oh, what? So we got a company, and a legal company, to help us come up with a franchise pack. We then opened our first franchise in Southend. We then just expanded quite quickly. So we're now open in Coventry with 3 escape room experiences. Birmingham now has 2 sites, including we got the license for the official Peaky Blinders escape room experiences. So we have 2 Peaky Blinder rooms in Birmingham. We wanted to start in Birmingham. It's the home of the Peakies. We've then got another franchise in Chelmsford, and we're open in Stratford upon Avon as well. Across the group, probably got about 12 escape experiences, different escape rooms. And before lockdown, we were also looking at taking on a big site up north. That's now on hold. So things were great, and I have to be honest, it far exceeded any of our expectations. Business was great. I would say 50% of our business is corporate. So your Monday to Friday in the day is your big companies coming to you doing big corporate events. And we kind of moved with the times, really. When we first opened, we would literally be a venue where you would turn up, you'd get a briefing, you'd go in your room, and then you'd go. And if you were corporate, you might go back to your hotel or your conference space. But we found that more corporate clients actually just wanted to give you everything because it saved them time. So they'd come to you and go, I've got a group of 40 people. I want you to feed them. I want them to drink there. I want a breakout session there. And I want them to do your escape rooms. So we were moving into a new phase of escape room venues where not only would you have the escape rooms, but would also offer corporate areas, would offer hot and cold food, and would offer drinks as well. And again, you know, it took a corporate booking on average from about £300 to about £3,500 by offering that, you know, conference space, food and drink. So that was the plan going forward. Now we had our second venue in Birmingham that offered that. going forward, any venues we opened across the UK, like in Chelmsford and the other one we were looking at up north, we would also offer a whole corporate experience rather than just escape rooms. We were also looking at going into VR experiences as well. Again, something that we still want to do, but we just don't know, obviously, timelines. So that, again, all going well, and then COVID hit. And I think for many of us, we were told that it's this disease, but actually look at what flu does. Flu's worse. It's okay. So naturally, we were like, okay, we did what everybody else did in the leisure industry and retail industry. We tried to make customers feel a bit more at ease. We upped our cleaning process. We sanitized. We offered hand gels. And I remember it was literally, we were heading into probably one of our busiest weekends. It was the Mother's Day weekend. We were absolutely sold out. We had tables reserved. We had bottles of Prosecco in the fridge. We had flowers ordered for Mum for when she arrived. We'd sold so many gift vouchers for Mother's Day, only to be told on that Friday, you're closed. That's it. Closed. All venues, everything closed. And I remember being at home, and I don't live too far away from my head office, and being on the phone to my business partner, and went, right, back in the office we go. And we called in as many staff as we could, and we just had to ring everybody from that weekend and say, sorry, we can't deliver this experience. So it's hit us hard. It's hit us hard. And then we kind of just sat and thought, what can we do? We can't let customers in the venue. We can't offer escape rooms. We're all on lockdown. We're going to go under. We really are, because landlords didn't get it. You know, we had our landlords knocking the door going, where's our money? Where's the service charge? No, we had one landlord, and I won't mention which venue, one landlord that sent us a bill in advance for this lockdown period, but also wanted service charge that included gas, electric and water. I mean, what do you do? We're not making any money. The money we've got in the bank is now going back to customers for refunds because we can't deliver the experiences. We tried to convert as many as we could into gift vouchers so they could use it, you know, at a later date. So we didn't know what we would do. And every day we were just sweating and thinking that, you know, we're going to have to call it a day with this escape room business. Fair play. I think Rishi's and the government have come forward for the leisure industry. Getting those grants is an absolute godsend. It's helped pay bills and suppliers that, you know, we owed money to. I think the furlough scheme has helped for now. But going forward, what will the leisure industry look like? Never mind just escape rooms. I think we're watching very closely to see what the guidelines will be for places like bowling alleys or gyms, because, you know, we had a catch up with our friends in the industry last night, and there was about 40 of us on the calls, and we went from one extreme to the other to you know, staff being in full PPE and having customers having to wear gloves and masks, to actually using fog machines to clear anything that potentially might be dangerous. So again, it's all up in the air, and we're sitting waiting for guidelines. But we're not going to sit there and do nothing, because if we do that, then there is no escape rooms, there is no leisure business if you just sit there. So we have looked at taking stuff online. So what we've done is we're offering a couple of products. So the first one is you can now still play an escape room using Zoom. So we call it remote escape rooms. And do you know what? One thing I've loved about this is you can play anywhere in the world. Like, we had a family who live here from India, and they've got family in Dubai and India, and they played an escape room, and they said it's the first time they've managed to do something together forever, like forever. Uncle, aunties, brothers, sisters were all in on this Zoom call playing an escape room. Now, how it works is you'll book a slot for up to 6 people on our website. You'll get your confirmation, but you'll also get a Zoom login. So on that slot, everybody enters the call, and you'll see our games master on screen who's in an actual physical escape room. They'll give you the rules. They'll explain how it works. You know, they'll chat to you, get to know you all, and then they'll say, right, you ready? Here's the storyline. Off we go. Now, the first one we've launched is Moriarty, The Last Stand. Very Sherlock Holmes, kind of whodunit, and you've got to find the evidence there was a planned murder and you've got to find the evidence. So in the room somewhere, there's a gun and you've got to find that before 60 minutes is up and Moriarty walks through the door and gets you. And you use that by using codes, clues, keys, but you take control of the games master. So if Daniel was the games master, I'd go, right, okay, Mom, I reckon you use that code over at the cupboard. Okay, games master Daniel, can you go over to the cupboard and put that code in? At first, we were a bit skeptical on if this would work. The feedback has been incredible. We're getting 5-star reviews constantly, and we've had to bring more staff off furlough to deliver more games because we just keep selling out. So much so, we've been busy this week working on our second remote escape room. So we've got The Last Stand, very Sherlock Holmes, and next week we will launch The Cell, and you'll log on and you will meet a prisoner locked in a cell. Now, he knows that the prisoner before set out an escape plan, but got released before he could actually use his escape plan. And you help the prisoner escape from the cell. So those are 2 products that we're offering going forward. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, our business is down a good 90%, even with this escape room online. You know, we were charging, you know, for a group of 6 people around £90 for a physical experience in venue. You know, we felt that the price bracket for this 2 players, about £40 is where we're at now. So, you know, and actually we don't make that much on that because, as I say, landlords still want their rent paying rates and we have to pay staff. So it's difficult, but I love the fact that we can bring our product online. And we've been working, if you look at our website, you'll be able to see, I don't know if I can share screen, Daniel, saying I can't share screen. You can see another product that we're offering called Rogue Agent. We've just found that people are bored at home. How many Zoom quizzes have we done? You know, how many, even though we're allowed in the park, how many times have we done that already? So we're trying to offer another side of the business, but online. So it's an online, it's not escape, but it's an online game called the Rogue Agent. And basically it's done where you can play between your own household. But if you want to bring friends in on Zoom, you can also play over Zoom. And the storyline there is a rogue agent in the MI5 has gone crazy, is getting the government a bad name, and you need to go and find out. Go and travel the world using this game and go and find out who it is and bring them in. And you log on, you get a dashboard, and you are able to have a look. I'll try and show you what we're doing. And yeah, and basically you've got to find who the rogue agent is.
Would you mind, JD, would you mind sending me, if you can, all the information on the different experiences? Or if you've got a slideshow, I can send it out to everybody afterwards. Is that all right?
Yeah. So basically,
all
again,
the new stuff.
Yeah, so we've had to, again, adapt the website. So this is the kind of couple of 2 products that we're offering at the moment. So there's your Moriarty, The Last Stand, Rogue Agent, which is coming soon. And that is a purely online game. So you will log in whenever you want. You don't have to book a slot or anything. You just buy it. It sits there. You log on and play whenever you like. And the good thing about that, whereas the escape rooms, you're limited to 60 minutes. There's no time limit on this. A family were a tester for us, and they loved it because mum and dad and the kids got involved. The younger kids started playing up, needed to go to bed. So they just stopped, put the kids to bed, opened a bottle of wine and carried on and tried to complete it. So that's what we're offering at the moment. As I say, there will be another escape game popping up soon.
That's
but
all. No,
that is what we're trying to do.
I know how you feel, because obviously working at a venue myself, it's very unsettling. But I think, you know what, to do what you've done in such a short space of time, to be able to deliver that and bring your staff off furlough is such a really positive thing. So well done you, because I think that's great. So, and thank you for joining us today. And also, I need to hear about your bingo calling skills as well. But I'm going to move on now.
That's been fun, bringing bingo online.
Yes. I'm going to move on now to Ben and Chloe Gray, who were from Elegant Entertainments, who were our entertainers last year at the West Midlands PA Awards. But exciting news, because I believe you've got a new brand, care of Mr. and Mrs. Gray.
Yeah, we've had a little rebrand.
Got a rebrand. Yeah.
Love that.
And by the way, I'm seeing everybody with mugs in their hands. I want to know how many people have actually filled it with gin.
Be honest. Come on. One right there. So yeah, it's actually quite exciting times for us. We're going to screen share a little presentation from Benj and myself. So let's have a look and see if we can make this work.
This one, share. This one. Does that work for everyone?
Yeah.
So there we are. That's us. We've got no faces. I don't know why, but you know, that's our little logo. It's now, yeah, we shifted from Elegant Entertainment, which is 8 years old now, and we've moved over to Care of Mr. and Mrs. Gray, which is more of it's exactly the same, but it's just more of a consultancy thing with us at the helm, so you know exactly who you're talking to. We found that businesses over the last few weeks, they want everything to be a little bit more personal, don't they? They want to be able to know who they're speaking to, and that's what we do. So yeah, we provide luxury live music. We have done for 8 years for high-end weddings, for private parties, corporate events, such PA forum, that was amazing, and iconic hotels and and restaurants across the city, including Market Pier White. You might have seen us at Malmaison at the Mailbox. We did the live summer music festival last year, which we're hoping to do again this year.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, so these are the kind of people that we work with on a weekly basis, and do a lot of corporate work as well with some big brands. So moving forward, so this is what we did for the PA Awards as well, which was a bit of a Chicago style flash mob, if you remember. Some acrobatics and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. And there, look at their faces. Look at them all there.
A little team, all at home.
Yeah, all at home, doing nothing. No, they're all very happy and healthy, which is good. So, moving forward, we are branching out in 2 different ways. We had planned beforehand to open up our latest company, which is by invitation only. We had planned this about a year ago. And if we look on the bright side of things, what COVID has enabled us to do is to actually put a lot of effort into this new company. So it's essentially, we'll be specialising in house parties and events at more private venues, smaller venues for corporate clients as well. Strapline, of course, you bring the people, we'll bring the party. We've worked in hospitality for for about a decade now. We know the best suppliers, we know the best people to go to for booze, food, and of course the entertainment, which we've specialised in for many years, and that's what we'll be focusing on with this particular product. So it'll be no fuss for anybody involved. We'll come, we'll do the lot, we'll bring we're partnered with Harvey Nichols and Malmaison for alcohol and cocktails at the moment, and we also have a lot of chefs on our hands that we recently produced the Birmingham Big Black Tie Bash, was it? And we partnered with Glimpenel and Alex Claridge from the Wilderness. We did live cook-alongs with those guys, and we've managed to partner with them for the catering for this. So that's really exciting stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So I suppose that's from a corporate point of view, that's where we could do small corporate parties, or if it's something personally that people are looking into as well. So kind of house parties being the main thing, garden parties over the summer. I appreciate it's still a little bit too early to consider those with social distancing at the moment, what we can do, but at least we can start making plans.
Looking forward.
Which is what we're doing. Even though we have planned a little party next week for 6 people, that's at least a start.
It's a start. It's allowed.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It pulls together all the food, the drink, and the entertainment essentially, and the full planning of all of it. So it's brand new and something that we're looking into. We've got a full brochure, which Dan, if I can send that over to you, and you can distribute to people just to have a look through and see if you're interested. And looking to try new ideas. It's certainly something we didn't realise that maybe it could be even a party for it might be the board of directors, or it might be the management team, or heads of department, or whatever it could be as well. And also then what's spun off this morning is quite an old-fashioned concept, but maybe going into office parties. So if that's something that people are comfortable and having 20, 30 people potentially in an office, socially distanced, is that something that we can then provide food, drink, and entertainment in the office as well, which is something we're looking into.
This is you all over. I'm going to leave this one to you.
This is a very separate kind of business that we're looking at, but you might be familiar with Canal Side, which is the ground floor conference venue in the Cube in the Mailbox. holds about 200 people usually. Well, Canalside's obviously had all of its bookings cancelled until the start of October, and is now literally sitting empty. So we've partnered with the guys at Canalside, and we're going to turn it into a television studio. With the kind of the process being, we don't yet know the purpose, but we do know that we could fit it out as a TV studio and essentially present virtual conferences from there, virtual interviews, TV pieces, and all sorts of things.
Fortunately for us, we owned a business that did this about 10 years ago, didn't we? So we've gone right back to our roots. So we're going to kit it out with some great lighting, some staging, which Ben will show you in a second what we've got planned. Yeah, so it's a similar kind of theme to the the quite recognisable One Show. So Canalside obviously looks out over the canal. This is obviously a photo when it was dark, but the idea being it would look out over the canal of Birmingham with a kind of panel discussion, couple of sofas type style, lit very well. It might be that you could interview your CEO there to say how you're doing social distancing. It might be something that hospitality can use by suggesting, this is how our restaurant is reopening, this is what we're going to do, this is how you can come and feel safe with us. So we provide the studio. We can also provide a presenter or a host to interview people, and obviously all the filming gear that comes with that. So that's kind of over one side of Canalside. On the opposite side, we're looking to create more of like a conference set or an awards ceremony type set. So as you can see from this, your logo could be changed. The PowerPoint just kind of drops in. But it's the kind of thing where you can have all that and have it filmed, and then either stream that out to guests or have it pre-recorded and send it out. Yeah, as Sophia was talking about earlier, doing a lot more kind of like hybrid virtual, so you can still do your reward ceremonies, but there'll be more of a virtual concept and something that people can still tune into, but you're safe and socially distanced for the timing. Is essentially the plan. Yeah. So yeah, there we go on that. Let me just come out of this and come back to you. There you are. So yeah, that's it. That's kind of it from us. But we welcome any sort of comments or questions. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. And thanks to Dan.
No, I just think that is incredible. Well done, because I think that's a really, really great concept. And I know ourselves, we're looking at what we can do with the PA Awards this year, and it's something that which we're thinking about, what can we do with this, that, or the other. We've also got our conference coming up in September, so again, something like that would be a great option. So thank you so much, guys, for sharing. Really great. Yeah. And send us over the brochure. I can send that out to everybody afterwards as well. Thank you.
Perfect. I'll get back to my gin.
The next up, we've got Tori Blythe Richards from the Partnership Collection. Tori was one of our partners last year at the West Midlands PA Awards, and she put on an amazing bash at the Crazy Bear, which we went to. She invited some of our committee members along to last year, which was fantastic. So thank you very much for joining us today, Tori. You've been a very busy lady.
Yeah, just a bit. Well, I mean, we're exactly the same as anybody else. Our business has evolved. We're a small to medium-sized business. We started off with the Partnership Lifestyle Club, which is a members-only private members club. There's hundreds of private members clubs in London, but outside of London, there's not that many around. And basically, people use them to have business meetings, go to events. And so we created an experience-based private members club. So rather than having a venue, people buy a membership and then they get access to 42 events a year. And we do things like we've taken the Royal Yacht Britannia exclusively for dinner, Michelin star dining, Henley Regatta, Ascot, that kind of thing. So there are people who like doing really, really nice experiences. We try to specialise in things that people haven't done before, like a cooking lesson with Raymond Blanc, that kind of stuff. And we built our membership base up to just over 100 members. It's quite sociable, so it's people that want to entertain their clients but in a much more sociable fashion. It could be that they used their membership for entertaining, you know, family and friends, but it's very sociable. It's not a business networking club, it is what I can say. So that really was the start of our business, and that was 6 years ago. As a result of the type of clients that we attracted, we had lots of requests saying, you know, you do amazing events, you don't fancy organising a romantic weekend away for me and the wife, or do you fancy taking on our family holiday, that kind of thing. And so 3 years after we launched a lifestyle concierge, and it mainly was been run for and on behalf of our members. So like I said, we've done everything from romantic weekends away to family holidays to helping people source supercars or anything really that they want any help with. And again, we also branched off with a private events department. Again, we specialise, we don't do big conferences and things like that, but we specialise in helping people find or do things that are a bit out of the norm, whether it be a different theme or a different venue or a surprise guest or something like that. And that really sort of like was the core product. We then last year launched 2 new products, one for our members, which was a membership called the Weekender, and that was for members who wanted to go away on European breaks. So we did things like truffle hunting in Tuscany, shopping in the opera in Milan, those kind of things, but they were members who wanted to get away together. We launched it at the Crazy Bear that Dan came to. We wanted to sell 10 memberships. We didn't even advertise it. We got 18 memberships to it, and we didn't even bother putting together a brochure or a flyer. And so from that, in November, I then launched a female networking club called East Meets West. So it's for predominantly females who want to meet people from one county to another, because I tend to think you're very insular in your own working environment and where you live and your own little contact group. So we launched that in November, and we launched it with you, Dan, at Sky Bar, and it was absolutely amazing. So obviously, every single arm of our business, it didn't just revolve around events, it revolves around people. And that's the main thing that obviously every bit we were stopped from doing anything. I'm not particularly a technology person. I was lulled into this false sense of security that because our members tended to be of a certain age and they got other people to do their technology, they weren't interested in technology, and how wrong was I? So when we very first started this, we started a range of really interactive newsletters with everything from tips, date night tips, interactive recipes. Our operations director, who comes from a hot 5-star background, started doing cocktail making videos that we interacted with our newsletters. And then we started, like everybody else, all we were trying to do was keep our community of members together. So we did the quiz, and then we did a cheese and wine night, and we sent them a shopping list of stuff to go out and get. And everybody came on, and it was great. Everyone interacted, but everyone had got a different wine, a different cheese. One had got it from Tesco's, one had got it from Sainsbury's. So the following week, we decided to send them a complete gin tasting kit in a box. So everything that they would need. So everybody had got the same gins, the same tonics, the same botanicals, and we got them all together, and we came on, and Ollie, our expert, who's got a master in wine and alcohol, I have as well, but I haven't got the certificate. and basically everybody did this gin tasting. And we literally got up the next morning, and we had dozens of members saying, can you do that for our family? Can you do that for, I want to keep my team together. And literally overnight, we were bombarded. So in a month, we have trademarked Experience in a Box. We have gone from it being a little box to something that is completely branded. And it has literally gone absolutely nuts. We're doing a live experience with JD and the team on Thursday on their Zoom. And basically how it works is that you could up until yesterday buy it in 2 ways, but but we're now bringing in a third. So you can buy it as a gift, or you can buy it for yourself. So you get it, everything that you need is delivered in your box. Gins, botanicals, wines, cheese, whatever it is that you choose. And you get a video tutorial. So if you wanted to organise the perfect night in, or you wanted to send someone a gift, whether it be a client or something like that that's completely different, they get everything they need, and then they get a link to a video and they watch it as a tutorial. So that's number one. Great alternative to sending someone flowers or chocolates. You then can buy it and organise it with a group of friends. So you get personalised invitations, corporate invitations. When the person gets their invitation, they've got an RSVP button. So it's got a mobile online booking where they give us their address to send the gift to. Everybody gets exactly the same box. And then they all dial into their Zoom, Ollie dials in, and everybody does a cheese and wine tasting, a gin tasting, a whiskey tasting, chocolate, beauty. We've even got a non-alcoholic product if you don't want to get everybody drinking. So there's all sorts of boxes. We've been so undated. We've been doing 3 a night, and we've been fully booked. So we've now decided to up our game again. Bear in mind, this has all happened in 30 days. We've pulled this off in 30 days. So we're now going to launch a subscription. So you will pay $39.99 for a subscription. It's a 3-month contract for the first 100 people that sign up. You get to pick your box, so you can pick from spirits, wine for beginners, wine for advanced, or a surprise box. You get your box, and then you get your Zoom webinar. You get the opportunity to send a question in to Ollie prior, and if you send the question in, you will get it fully answered on the Zoom call. If not, you've got the opportunity to chat to him up the side. So gin might be on Thursday night at 8 o'clock, wine might be on Saturday night at 6 o'clock. So you get the chance to choose the product, and you get the chance to choose the day of the week or the time that suits you best. You get a little binder which will contain all your tasting notes, so you can collect your tasting notes month by month as you go along and build up your knowledge. And it's really designed to get people to learn about things. So to learn about gin, to learn about wine, and we're going to be launching that next week. So yes, we have been extremely busy.
Yeah.
The core business of the club, the events and everything else, which are now starting to really people are starting to book things, ask about things. But this is incredibly exciting for us. And it is just, I'm very, very, very proud of the team. And when my little Facebook thing popped up last night to say, you did this event a month ago, I just couldn't believe it that we'd only done this a month ago, and now we've just created all of this.
Yeah, it was interesting because me, Tori, and Chris from Conference Care and Lucy Brazier were all on a call about, you know, the devastation necessarily to the trying to find a positive in all of this, and then all of a sudden now there's been so much movement in such a short space of time, and I think you guys have all done incredibly well. I'm not working at the moment for Resorts World, but I'm kind of want to get stuck in there so I can say, look, come on, let's do this. I guess I'm just mate, but thank you so much, Tori. We've had some people commenting about your boxes in there already, so we'll get some information out. So thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
And last but not least, this man must be incredibly worn out. Introducing Stu from SqeedQuizzing. Now, I bet, Stu, you must have been absolutely crazy when all this started.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, to be honest, and it's not sort of stopped. I'm taking a week off this week, just literally to recuperate and try and replenish myself. So I don't know whether anybody has played SqeedQuizzing before. It was like it is basically a smartphone-based quiz app that basically you would go to an event. I would host, or a host would host. And all the answers are done via a smartphone app, basically, based on sort of multiple choice questions. numbers-based questions and letters-based questions where you just press the first letter of what you think the answer is. With speed quizzing for years and stuff, we had endless inquiries as to, is there a way you can do this online? Especially with corporates who wanted to link different offices and stuff and have a quiz against each other and things like that. And we were adamant for years and years and years, we were adamant that basically that it's better to have a host in person than it is to do things online. We felt a lot of the engagement with quizzes would just be completely lost. You wouldn't be able to interact, you know, you just sort of lose that human. You'll have to apologise, I've got my window open and there is endless traffic just going past my window at the moment, so I've got a lot of background noise. So yeah, it's we were sort of, we completely shut that idea out, and we thought there are a few quiz companies that were sort of moving in that direction, but we always thought with internet speeds and things like that, because speed quizzing is all about speed, we wanted it to be accurate, and we wanted to have fun, so we wanted to be able to interact with people on like a literally like a face-to-face level. I think about 6 months before lockdown actually happened, we started looking into potentially doing a light version of the software where you could do it online, but it was still something that we didn't want to really explore. And when lockdown happened, we basically took what we'd done then, and within about 3 days we sort of turned it around, and we basically said, right, we can use this version online. It's going to help hosts to keep their regular quizzers, happy throughout this period. And as it's gone on, and over a period of time, we've actually explored the software itself to the point where we're kind of like quite happy with it, and we think that it's going to be something that we're going to use as a long-term thing afterwards as well. So we've had a lot of our hosts set up things like this, where you've got like a nice little screen where you can sort of talk and then chat. And then when you you start up your quiz, and you've got your quiz screen here as well. So there's a little me in the corner sort of thing. And basically, I'll show you exactly what it looks like. When it starts, you get like a question come up on the screen. So for example, this one is a multiple choice question. You can just see in the bottom right hand corner there's like a little keypad. That's what your keypad looked like at the time. So this one's a multiple choice question, countdown to start the basically to answer. Let me just turn this down because it's quite loud in my headphones anyway. And then obviously there's no teams playing at the moment, but then we tell them what the correct answer was, and then their fastest team would also get bonus points. That would come up on the screen as well. We'd also have, this is a Star Wars quiz that I did the other day, by the way. I've just clicked on a random quiz. We'd have like picture questions as well, where basically they'd just put the first letter of what they think the answer is. And we could do other things, and like basically with the software like that as well. Let's put it back to my main screen. And what we found really is that you don't lose a massive amount of interaction and stuff with Zoom. Like I'm looking at you now, I can see everybody's faces. I try and encourage people to put their cameras on. We can see people celebrating. We can see people getting excited about being the fastest team and things like that. And then we can put their scores up on the screen and things like that as well. What's interesting is that I've still been able to carry on the corporate element of things as well. So for some like law firms and well, just generally sort of random firms that just want to keep their team sort of engaged, have basically been booking me. I had one law firm that literally do a quiz at the start of lockdown, and they were all super excited. They were all there with wine in their hands and the gin in their hands and everything like that, and they were all interacting, and during the breaks they were basically having a bit of a chat. Then I'd come back and we'd carry on again, and then even afterwards the Zoom chat, I would leave the Zoom chat, I'd leave it to somebody else to host, and they would talk for another 2 or 3 hours, just to sort of like catch up. Then they wanted to do another one about 6 weeks later, and you can see the difference of the weary looks on their faces that 6 weeks of lockdown has taken from them, from the first week of lockdown to the end. And even making funny comments like that and stuff, it kind of gets a little bit of interaction going. And the best one I've done recently as well, actually, was a family quiz where the family had lost a member of the family to a coronavirus, and they're all scattered around the country, and they wanted to basically bring the family together, sort of like just to have a bit of fun for one evening. So they sent me a load of subjects that basically the family were about. You know, they've got a daughter that likes horses. There's a kid that loves wrestling. There's the whole family is into Premiership football, that sort of thing. And then, you know, their sort of music taste based really around the 80s. And basically I just formatted a quiz around them, and they absolutely loved it. There was a great bit of interaction between all the families. It was almost like Family Fortunes, because all their team names were like, it's the Waltons and it's the Smiths, and it was like the fastest team is the Smiths, and you can see them and their kids just having fun in the backyard. And then at the end of it, they were basically like, right, we've got 15 minutes now, and we're going to do a magic show in a bit as well. So they zoomed off, and then they, you know, went and had a little bit of a magic show afterwards as well. So it was nice to be part of that evening. And it turns out as well, there was even a few songs that I dropped in there that meant something quite to them as well, that I had no idea about. I think there was something meant to something to one of the members of the family, and they got quite emotional about it, sort of thing as well. So it was just nice to be part of them, and weirdly it's given me an idea. I'm going to go and do the same thing for my family as well, because I haven't seen a few of those in quite a long time. So yeah, I mean, it's been an eye-opener to see actually how the online version works a lot better than we thought it was. There's two different sides of quizzes that are going online at the moment. There's ones where there's like 1,000 people playing, and they do things via YouTube, where I think there's very little interaction because you can't see your faces. Whereas the ones we're doing, or I'm doing, are somewhere between like about 40 teams to like 100, 150 teams. And they're nice as well because you can get a full screen of people on Zoom. You can see people's interactions, and then you can interact. You can even comment about, you know, things going on in their house and people getting slightly more drunk and things like that, which you can't do on things like YouTube as well. It's nice to be able to see people's faces and still interact with people. So whilst there is a lot of people making money on huge quizzes with like thousands of people with big prizes and stuff, I think we still quite like to stick to the smaller ones where you can have that bit of interaction. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I've been booked for recently where there are all sorts of themed quizzes that are going online, and we're selling out quite a lot of these events and stuff. So over the past few weeks, I've done like an Alan Partridge quiz, movies, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Star Wars, Community, Parks and Rec, even a Beatles quiz, a video games quiz, and then in the coming weeks, I've got things like Back to the Future, League of Gentlemen, Family Guy, South Park, that sort of thing coming up over the next few weeks. And they're selling out like sort of left, right and centre. We're getting people joining those quizzes from places like Canada and all over the place, you know, and it's great to see in the Zoom chat there's saying hello from Belfast, hello from wherever and stuff as well. Basically just because people are trying to find nice things to do and stuff. So speed quizzing has definitely moved in a weird direction. We'll definitely be looking, you know, definitely still be focusing on the face-to-face element coming out of this. But on days of the week where I find it extremely difficult to get people out of the house, i.e. Sundays, it's almost impossible to get people out into Birmingham city centre on the Sundays. I'm probably looking at moving to do like maybe an online quiz once every Sunday where I can just log on from my computer, do a couple of hours quiz, maybe theme it up every sort of week where you just literally can't get people into pubs and stuff. Do one of those, and then that might be part of my weekly routine from then on. But yeah, that's speed quizzing and speed quizzing live, and it's been a roller coaster. But we literally week on week we've been improving it, trying to increase the quality of it, the stability of it, and the way it looks is a lot better than it did, like say back at the end of March when it was just fully properly operational quizzing piece of software. So yeah, thank you very much. Anyway, I would have literally got a little mini quiz for you to all do, but I didn't want to waste time with you like trying to faff about like downloading apps and things like that. If I thought about it, I could have probably told you to download the app and give you like a 5-minute quiz beforehand and stuff. But Like I say, I'll tell you what, I do quizzes on a Monday and a Wednesday. If you're interested, I usually charge for those ones, but if anyone's interested in doing one of those quizzes, drop, like, say, down an email and forward it to me, and I can send you the Zoom details for one of those quizzes, like a music quiz on a Monday, and on Wednesday evenings I do sort of general knowledge ones, so feel free to sort of drop into those and give it a look if you really want to have a look.
Yeah, that's awesome, Stu. Thank you. Stu did the first ever PA Forum Christmas party, and he just recently did one with Age UK. I think it was the day before Resorts World closed, I think, Stu, or something like that. So thank you so much. You've also been to Stu's been into organisations as well to do speed quizzing in the office, so definitely something to consider potentially in the future. So
yeah, Age UK have actually Age UK are doing one with Birmingham Business Park as well. So like we're doing another one with those in a few weeks as well. So yeah, it's the same people over and over again, sort of thing. So yeah, thanks Dan. Anyway, thanks for you know, inviting me into the.
No, I'm really grateful. Like I say, all of our panelists today have helped me and the forum and supported us in the past in some sort of way. And I think it's just great for us to keep in touch with them and find out exactly what they're doing. And if we can help them and support their businesses in any way, then as they have supported us, then I would just be really grateful. And I'll send over an email afterwards, including the recording of this. If you want to share it with anyone in your organisation or outside your organisation, please do. Apologies, we haven't really had a chance for any questions, but if you have got any, then please feel free to contact everyone directly afterwards or send them in to me and I can look into it for you. But I just want to say thank you ever so much to our speakers again. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us. I hope you have a fantastic day and look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone.